Hello and welcome. Tonight, PDP presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar and his running mate Ifeanyi Okowa speak about their agenda for the country during Channels Television's People's Town Hall. Director General of the PDP Presidential Campaign Council, Aminu Tambuwal, visits Benue State Governor Samuel Ortom in peace moves with the G5 governors. The wives of the APC presidential candidate and his running mate Oluremi Tinubu and Nana Shetima lead other women to flag off the party's presidential campaign for women in northeast Nigeria. And Scottish authorities say a Libyan man accused of making the bomb which destroyed a Pan Am Flight 103 over Lockerbie over 34 years ago is now in US custody. Governor Aminu Tambuwal of Sokoto State, who is also the Director General of the People's Democratic Party Presidential Campaign Council, has begun reconciliation talks with the G5 governors, starting with a visit to Governor Samuel Ortom of Benue State, whom he believes can help the party reach out to members of the G5. Mr. Tambuwal, while admitting that politicians will always disagree, says his visit underlines the party's desire to mend fences and ensure that its members work together for the party's victory in 2023. On the spot, Governor Samuel Ortom, while commending Mr. Tambuwal for the move, believes the party has not managed the crisis with the G5 group properly. He, however, says a window of opportunity for peace still exists.
And what were you expecting?
Internal party wranglings are normal, and what we've been having is not a war of attrition, but political disagreement. We, even in our families, have reasons to disagree, agree. Some other times, when you have such disagreements and you come back together, you even bond more stronger and work stronger. So it's work in progress. We have said it several times that we're interested in bringing everybody together to work together for this party. And that is the mission of my being here in Makadi. He is a principal person on the issues that we're handling. And I've had a very, very useful conversation with him, which I will, of course, engage with the rest of our colleagues and other leaders and see how best we can come back together as one family and work towards making sure that the PDP come out stronger and win the elections of 2023 convincingly.
The leadership of this party have failed to take advantage of the challenges of the party and make it stronger. They have failed to do this. Rather, it is arrogance, this nonchalant attitude, and nobody has cared to reach out to us, even when we voice out that things were not going on well. And so for me, I commend him for taking this step to visit me. And we have discussed on my opinion on how I think this matter can be resolved. And I believe that as a leader and as DG of the campaign, he will do the needful, because I'm not alone. Talking to me alone will not solve the problem.
Meanwhile, the man at the center of the G5 group, that's Governor Nyesom Wike of Rivers State, is not backing down on his grievances with his party. Governor Wike, however, believes the party will not have a problem winning all the seats in Rivers State in the 2023 general elections based on his own performance. Now, the governor was speaking during the Thanksgiving service and dedication of the PDP campaigns in the state.
Our campaign is simple. If we have disappointed Rivers people, by now we would know. But Rivers people can believe, can say clearly that this administration has not disappointed them. And I don't think the next government coming will disappoint them. Rather, the next government coming will do better than what we have done. You may As I've read on pages of newspapers and television and social media, I just want to tell some people that if you are not prepared to play politics, you don't need to kill yourself. Politics is a rigorous thing.
Governor Wike, however, had a message for the church, asking the church not to allow politicians draw it into the game of politics.
I want to plead with the church to be careful of being used to play politics. Yes, I believe all of us should participate in the politics of this country to determine who governs us. But let the church not be allowed to be used as if we are fighting a religious war. You see, when people come to say this, which I'm not in support though, but you see, when you play on people's intelligence, you say Nigeria is not ripe for Muslim ticket. I agree. But Nigeria is ripe for president to remain in one zone. I mean, just look at the insult. You blow hot and cold. If you know, yes, that is wrong, that's why Nigerians also say it is wrong for presidency to remain in one zone. I agree with what you are saying. I agree with you. I agree. But look at now what we are saying here. Your party is having presidential candidate. Your party is having the national chairman. Your party wants the president to go to the same zone that President Buhari is coming out from. Who is cheating who?
Meanwhile, the People's Democratic Party's candidate for the 2023 general elections, Atiku Abubakar, believes Rivers State Governor's allegiance may be to a rival political party, although he fell short of mentioning the actual party. The PDP presidential candidate, who was speaking on Channels Television's People's Town Hall today.
I have met Wike 2 times in Port Harcourt, 2 times in Abuja, 1 time in London, personally.
So he was asking, why is it difficult to sort things out with your wealth of experience?
It's not on my part.
So he's on the other side?
Yeah, he's on the other side.
So you're waiting for him?
Yeah, I'm waiting.
Well, the PDP flag bearer also decried the threat still posed by the terrorist group Boko Haram to the nation's security.
I still cannot understand why we should have Boko Haram. You see, I served in Borno State when it was the Northeast. And as a custom officer, I was patrolling the entire Northeast. So I'm very, very conversant with the vegetation and with the border areas. I still cannot find a place in the Borno area where anybody can hide and cannot be seen. I cannot understand, honestly, the Boko Haram phenomenon. Sometimes when returning from Europe, 30 feet above, I could see a man walking in Borno State. So where is the place to hide? To the extent that they said there is a place called Zambisa. I've been there. I didn't see a forest. It's just shrubs here and there. So, and we have deployed the Nigerian military, which used to be the best, one of the best in the world. They have fought, you know, a number of international arena, and they have excelled. And here we are deploying the Nigerian military with its might and everything. And we just couldn't, eliminate Boko Haram.
Still on the Channels Television's People's Town Hall today, the PDP vice presidential candidate, Senator Ifeanyi Okowa, is not holding back his worry about the nation's deteriorating health sector, in which he pointed out that Nigeria's infant and maternal mortality rate is as the worst in the world.
With the participation, as my presidential candidate has said, of the organized private sector and the informal sector, bringing all of them into the national health insurance bracket, you'll find that you have enough pool of funds to be able to take care of the very vulnerable who are not able to pay their premiums. In Delta State, for instance, since 2017 January, we have been providing for the vulnerable, here classified into all pregnant women and children under the age of 5, from 0 to 5 years. We've been providing and paying their premium from the pool of funds that we have been able to generate with the state government funding it. But unfortunately, we've had just one release because the act was signed in 2014 December. It was operationalized by this current government, but just for 2018 monies were released, and since then we've had a lot of hiccups. So the act is actually not followed through, because government is supposed to provide some level of funding as required by law. And then if that money gets into the pool of funds, the state governments are supposed to pay their own counterpart funding. And that creates a large pool of funds. So the government at the federal level would definitely put down its own funding and get the state governments to provide the counterpart funding. I think that would create the needed pool of funds. And if we're able to do that, we would have been able to reduce the very high level of infant mortality and under 5 mortality rate that we have, one of the worst indices in the world. We'll be able to reduce the very high level of maternal mortality. And I think there will be a turnaround in the next 4 years.
The cold city of Enugu today played host to some notable Nigerians, including former President Olusegun Obasanjo, Afenifere leader Ayo Adebanjo, and the Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi, who were all in the city to attend the 70th birthday colloquium of former Ohanese President General Chief John Nwodo. Also in attendance were the state governor Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi, former Senate President Ken Nnamani, former governor of the old Anambra State Jim Nwodo, Obi of Onitsha Igwe Alfred Achebe, among others. Before leaving the state, Chief Obasanjo had a brief stopover at the Ohanese Secretariat to sign the condolences register for the late former Aviation Minister, Chief Mbazulike Amechi, who died on November the 1st. He spoke on the legacies of the former minister and his take on the 2023 presidential election.
What I believe and what I believe that Chief Ayo Adebanjo believed is not ethnic, it's not sectional, it's not religious, it is Nigerian and Nigeria. When I go out and people say, we thank you, I say, what are you thanking me for? And I tell them, please stop thanking me. Why should you be thanking me? I believe in equity. I believe in justice. I believe in one Nigeria. I have shed my blood for this country. I have gone to prison for this country. So what are you going to frighten me or threaten me with? The problem we have in our front and in our hand is not ethnic, it's national. And for me, the first thing that is important in a leader is character. The problem we have had over the years is that we don't have leaders who have the right type of character that they should be entrusted with the leadership role. So if I put my finger on anything or anybody, it's because comparing one with another, I see that there is merit that would be of benefit to Nigeria. And I believe.
In part two, after the break, Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project SERAP asked Governors Wike, Okowa and other oil-producing states to publish the spending details of oil derivation refunds of 625 billion naira within 7 days. That's in a moment. Please stay with us. Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 on Channels Television live from our studios in Lagos. A reminder of our top stories. A PDP presidential candidate, Atiku Abubakar, accuses River State Governor Nyesom Wike of pitching his tent with another political party. Director General of the PDP Presidential Campaign Council, Aminu Tambuwal, visits Benue State Governor Samuel Ortom in peace moves with the G5 governors. Wives of the APC presidential candidate and his running mate, Oluremi Tinubu and Nana Shetima, lead other women to flag off the party's presidential campaign for women in northeast Nigeria. And Scottish authorities say a Libyan man accused of making the bomb which destroyed a Pan Am Flight 103 over Lockerbie over 34 years ago is now in US custody. We head to the northeast, where the wife of the APC presidential candidate, Oluremi Tinubu, and that of the party's running mate, Nana Shetima, have led other women to flag off the party's presidential campaign for women in Maiduguri, the Borno state capital. Addressing women and youth at the Ramat Square in Maiduguri, venue of the rally, Mrs. Tinubu says women welfare, youth unemployment and education of the girl child will be the priority of the Tinubu administration if voted into power come 2023. Before the commencement of the presidential campaign for women in the Northeast, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, wives of APC governors and other leading female politicians in the All Progressives Congress in the region are hosted to a brief reception by the host governor, Professor Babagana Zulum, at the Government House Council chambers.
And from the beginning.
A crowd of women and youth from the region had occupied the rally ground, cheering their visitors who took turns to address them on the need to support the APC presidential candidate.
Coming out today in large numbers despite the women's campaign is quite encouraging for us.
Appreciating the turnout, the wife of the APC presidential candidate and leader of the women presidential campaign team, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, assured supporters that the party will fulfill its agenda for the youth and women if it forms the central government in 2023.
I'm not a businesswoman, but when it comes to charity work, you can really count on me. And at the same time, Nana Shetima, she's into a lot of charity work. So we can assure the youth that youth employment will be something that will be at the front burner of the Tinubu Shetima administration. And also women empowerment and the education of our girl child. Because before you can empower a woman, the woman has to have a form of education. And education is very key to the growth of our women, not only in the Northeast, but in Nigeria as a whole. Because when you educate one woman, you've educated you've really done well to the entire household, and not to speak of the entire nation.
Governor Babagana Zulum also adds his voice by calling for a united front in support of the party's presidential candidate and his running mate.
I want to ask all citizens across the Northeast, particularly for Boston, to mobilize and thank vote for the APC, because they are still at the Shetima ticket with the Inshallah bill on the huge gains recorded by Mr. President. I urge our extreme supporters in the Northeast, from Yobe State, Bauchi, Adamawa, Gombe, Taraba State, to come out and mass and support our mission.
The All Progressives Congress Women Presidential Campaign Team leads Maiduguri to other regions as it continues to crusade to garner more support and convince the electorate to vote for its candidate in the 2023 elections. Staying with politics, Governor Fintiri of Adamawa State wants the Office of the Accountant General of the Federation separated from the Office of the Accountant General of the Federal Government. Now, the governor made this comment during a rally of the People's Democratic Party campaign in Jada local government area of Adamawa State. Governor Fintiri anchored his opinion on the need to guarantee checks and balances and ensure transparency and accountability.
Governor Fintiri of Adamawa State is seeking for another term in office, and he is taking his word-to-word campaign to Jada local government area, the ancestral home of the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Mr. Atiku Abubakar. Residents of the area turn out in their numbers to welcome the governor and officials of the party.
The people have turned out in the very, very good numbers to show their affection and appreciation to His Excellency Alhaji Umaru Fintiri, and to assure him that come 2023 we shall vote PDP from top to bottom, from bottom to the top.
There are so many reasons why he has to be re-elected, because Governor Umaru Fintiri is an enigma. He is a name that Adamawa people can never forget in a hurry.
Governor Umaru Fintiri urges the people to vote for the PDP in all seats, especially the party's presidential candidate, who is their son.
If we don't like ASU strike anymore, vote Atiku Abubakar. He's the only one that understands Nigeria.
Addressing the crowd in Hausa language, the governor also used the opportunity to address the allegations that some governors divert their allocations meant for local government areas.
General Buhari yace wasu gwamnati suna ɗauka kudin local government. Kamar inda yan uwana sun fara equally challenge ya gaya mana waɗanda suke ɗauka kudin nan. A equally challenge idan za mu yi fighting corruption tare ya tabbatar ya gyara constitution na Nigeria, ya raba office of the Accountant General of the Federal Government da Accountant General of the Federation. Saboda suna kwashe kudin jihohi, suna ɗiba kudi ba ta hanyar daidai ba, ba hanyar tsari ba, ba hanyar constitution ba, kafin a ji a raba kudi bayan shekara wata ya kare.
The governor also accused the central bank of targeting the political class with the cash withdrawal limits policy.
Political parties who have failed to conduct their primaries for selecting candidates for various positions should forfeit the opportunity of participating in the general election in 2023. That's according to the Executive Director of the Policy and Legal Advocacy Center, PLAC, Mr. Clement Wakwo. He told Channels Television's Ladia Keriduluale on our election issues tracking program Roadmap 2023 that what courts are doing by asking the parties to reconduct primaries is done in violation of the Electoral Act is a recipe for chaos and is quite illegal.
The intention of the legislature is to ensure that the timelines, and INEC did indicate that in some of its submissions as well to the committees on electoral matters and to the legislature, when you do have the Constitution and indeed the Electoral Act say that you should give notice of elections 360 days before the elections, and then it gives timelines for the conduct of primaries for parties to submit their candidates list and so on. The intention is to ensure that internal democracy is respected. And I feel appalled and shocked that courts have failed to understand the intent of the Electoral Act. And so you would see a high court give an order less than how many days to the elections, asking parties to reconduct primaries. I think that if a party has not conducted its primaries in line with the Electoral Act, the court's responsibility at that stage is to nullify the entire primaries, rather than give that party that has abused the Electoral Act the opportunity again to go back and reconduct primary in a system and under a lawfully guided electoral process that gives timelines for activities to happen. So I think that the courts need to understand the intent of the Electoral Act to avoid the situation of chaos that they are creating by giving additional time for primaries to be conducted. At this stage, if a party fails to conduct its primaries in proper provisions or in compliance with the provisions of the Electoral Act, then that party cannot have the advantage of going back to reconduct primaries. And I think that the action of the high courts in giving this fresh opportunity is actually illegal and violates the Electoral Act and the intentions of the Electoral Act.
For the full interview with Mr. Clement Nwakwa, do watch Roadmap 2023 tomorrow, Monday, December the 12th at 9 p.m. right here on Channels Television. The Catholic Bishop of Sokoto Diocese, Bishop Matthew Kuka, says embracing and properly managing diversity in the country is fundamental to its growth. According to him, politicians and citizens need to manage their multiple identities in order for the country to remain together, peaceful and prosperous. The Catholic Bishop was speaking at the St. Agnes Catholic Church in Maryland, Lagos.
Diversity is a gift of God. And like other countries have demonstrated, properly managed, its management is fundamental to how countries grow and how resilient and rigid a country becomes. And Nigeria is suffocating so badly because it has been unwilling to manage diversity. Thus, diversity has become an instrument of war. Then the second thing is the courage and the character of those who govern. This is the only country where you find that governors are prepared to pander to. Presidential candidates, gubernatorial candidates are prepared to pander to the wishes of their people, not presenting a vision. We must come to a point in which a leader will decide to take a decision that, if you like, it's almost like suicide, but you have to be sufficiently convinced. It is a pity that we are still debating among ourselves. So what is it that will guarantee us a peaceful and a prosperous Nigeria? We're not looking at those issues. Unfortunately, you know, they say, if you have been burned by fire, if you see ashes, you will run. Now, the way that diversity has been managed in the last 7 or 8 years has left a sour taste in our mouth.
The Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project, SERAP, has asked the 9 oil-producing states in Nigeria to provide and publish details of spending of the oil derivation refunds of 625 billion naira recently paid to them by the federal government within 7 days. Now, the rights group is equally asking for the details and locations of projects executed with the money. In an open letter, SERAP explains that the disclosure is in the interest of the public, as Nigerians have the right to know how their states are spending the refunds. SERAP further explains that disclosing the information will enable Nigerians to scrutinize the spending of the refunds and promote transparency and accountability. The federal government recently paid over 600 billion naira oil derivation refunds to the governments of Abia, Akwa Ibom, Bayelsa, Delta, Edo, Rivers, Ondo, Imo, and Cross River states. The payments covered the 13% oil derivation, subsidy, and Surepay refunds. In Zamfara State, the People's Democratic Party has expressed dissatisfaction over what it described as an unconstitutional arrest of its members. The acting chairman of the party in the state, Mr. Mukhtar Luga, made this known while addressing newsmen at the state headquarters of the party in Guzo, the Zamfara state capital. He described the arrest of the party's senatorial candidate for Zamfara Central, Mr. Ikra Bilbis, and the subsequent arraignment over alleged thuggery as undemocratic. Mr. Luga also lamented the arrest and imprisonment of a former ambassador to Guinea, Mr. America Mohammed.
It is with heavy hearts and with all sense of sincerity and responsibility that we stand before you today to report this unfortunate trend of wanton harassment and intimidation of party members by the state government, its agencies, as well as the courts and security agencies, particularly the Nigerian Police Force. It is on record that our party has consistently pleaded with our members with our members to remain law-abiding despite provocation by the state and its apparatus. We wish to appeal to the law enforcement agencies, especially the Nigerian police force, whose mandate and responsibility is to ensure law and order is effectively maintained, so as a matter of urgency, play the constitutional role without bias. We also call on the Independent Electoral Commission to note our party, the PDP in Zamfara State, is being denied the political right to carry out its fundamental rights of engaging with stakeholders, especially the electors, as enshrined in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and the Electoral Act as amended.
Staying in Zamfara State and in security, the district head of Yankuzo village in Safe Emirate, Alhaji Hamza Kogo, has died after he was shot by bandits. The channel's television gathered that the district head was attacked by the bandits on his way back to his community from an official engagement on Friday around 8 p.m. Although the police is yet to comment on the incident, the monarch was said to have been shot and wounded in an attempt to abduct him and was rushed to the Federal Medical Center in Gusau, the state capital, where he later died from gunshot wounds on Saturday night. Yankuzo is the hometown of the notorious bandit kingpin Ado Aleru, who was conferred with traditional title in Yadunton Daji Emirate in July this year. And down in the southwest, police in Ondo State say some armed hoodlums invaded Kajala and Kusero communities in Udigbo local government area of Ondo, killing residents and destroying property and farmlands on Saturday. The police spokesperson in the state, Fumilayo Omisaya, in a statement, however, says the attack is a reprisal by hoodlums from Ayetoro community. She disclosed that the previous day, one Juliana Abejoye was attacked by two masked men on her farm at Obontiba near Kusero community, but she escaped with injuries and she's now been hospitalized. According to Mrs. Omisaya, the hoodlums set ablaze some motorcycles, killed livestock and even destroyed farms in Kusero community. Meanwhile, a team of policemen has been dispatched to the area to restore normalcy. The Nigerian military has been reacting to accusations by Reuters news agency that it is engaging in a secret and illegal abortion program in the Northeast region. Reuters publication claims over 10,000 pregnancies have been terminated by the military among women and girls rescued from Boko Haram camps. In this report, our correspondent, Emperor Simon, who visited Maiduguri in Borno State, examines the roles played by the military in the handling of those rescued from insurgency.
On December the 7th, 2022, Reuters, a renowned global news agency, published an investigative report in which the Nigerian military is accused of running a secret, systematic and illegal abortion program in northeast Nigeria. The publication alleged that the military aided the termination of at least 10,000 pregnancies among women and girls rescued from the camps of terrorists, an allegation the military authority has since denied.
The military, the Nigerian armed forces, can never be involved in such things.
In the last 1 year, over 82,000 Boko Haram members and their families have surrendered to troops, and about a quarter of that figure are currently accommodated at the Arch camp in Maiduguri, the Borno state capital.
I'm in the midst of hundreds of women here. Most of them are pregnant and still have children. These women here with their families have decided to surrender to the government and to leave the insurgency or to leave the Boko Haram fight. They say that they have been well taken care of by the state government and by the military.
I am pregnant and expecting my child soon. I am happy with the way I'm being treated in this camp. I am 6 months pregnant and I'm well taken care of.
At least 2,279 children have been delivered in the camp, with some of the babies just about 2 weeks old. Some of the women were abducted by the insurgents, enslaved, raped and forced into marriage. We sought to know if they ever considered aborting their pregnancies and if the camp management has engaged in such practice.
As far we are here in this clinic, we have never received any female that come to say that she want to remove her baby or any other else, unless we receive a lot of cases such as miscarriage.
Away from the camp, we visited a joint investigation center in Maiduguri. The center engages in the prosecution, rehabilitation and reintegration of the suspects.
The center is responsible for the custody and administration of arrested suspects brought by the frontline formation and units who are transferred with preliminary investigation report from the arresting units.
23 women and 11 children are at the center. A few of the women deliver their babies here.
The women here are between the ages of 20 and 50. Some of them have spent as much as 3 years here with their children.
Came to the center pregnant. I delivered here, and the military has been taking good care of me and my child. No one ever threatened to terminate my pregnancy, and I am happy to have my child.
Generally, if we receive inmates here, and they are ladies or women in general, we conduct a pregnancy test for them on how to take care of them properly. And when they deliver, we follow the immunization of the children properly.
The hospital at the 7th Division in Giwa Barracks is one of the facilities Reuters claims is being used by the military to carry out illegal abortions. However, the management says the facility is only open to soldiers wounded in action or civilians within the barracks.
We've never had anybody coming here and asking us that they want to terminate pregnancy in this hospital, because this hospital is not known for that.
In the last 1 year, the military has rescued thousands of civilians, including some of the abducted Chibok school girls with their children. The Nigerian military says it will continue to engage in kinetic and non-kinetic operations in the Northeast region while staying committed to its ethics and constitutional mandate. Emperor Simon, Channels Television News.
To healthcare now, medical experts are worried over the rising case of cervix cancer in Kano State. To address this, however, the state government is building a state-of-the-art specialist hospital for the treatment of cancer in the state. Our correspondent Sadiq Ilyasu has more on this report.
For a period of time, cancer, which is the abnormal growth of body cells, has been a major challenge globally. In Kano State, northwest Nigeria, findings revealed a rise in the number of cases. However, prevention and treatment are major concerns. Legal practitioner Abdulkadir Sandi lost his mother to the disease, and he narrates his experience.
The experience is horrible. It is not fans friendly. If it will take the whole of what we have and then she will leave, we will love it. But I can tell you that it's not fans friendly. It's expensive, and also it doesn't yield result. I think it is not a palatable one.
Dr. Badariya Aliyu, a gynecologist at the Muhammad Abdullahi Wasi Teaching Hospital, said many women die of cancer unattended in the rural part of Kano State.
In Kano, though we don't have the exact prevalence, because most of these women come with more advanced disease, and so a lot of them die within their locality without being referred to the centers where they could be identified. So the exact figure is not actually known, but we are ranging around 60 per 100,000 women have been exposed to cancer of the cervix in Kano State.
Cancer is one of the leading causes of death in Africa. In Kano State, northwest Nigeria, cancer of the cervix has been identified as one of the leading causes of death among women in the state. However, the state government is building a cancer treatment center with the capacity to treat 100 persons a day. According to the state governor, Abdullahi Ganduje, the aim of establishing the world-class treatment center is to reduce costs and medical tourism.
They undertook a survey of the cancer that is prevalent in Kano and prevalent in Nigeria. And then they design a building and then prescribe some equipment and even management on how we can come up with the biggest cancer treatment center in Africa.
With the burden of cancer growing, prevention is a significant public health challenge. Around 40% of cancer cases could be prevented by tackling risk factors relating to diet, nutrition, and physical activity. Sadiq Ilyasu, Channels Television News.
Some company news now. Henry Montego Homes, a real estate development company in Lagos, has added another groundbreaking development to its pool of affordable luxury housing in the residential space. The project, built in the Kate area of Lagos, christened the Montego Bay 3, has semi-detached and townhouses, among others. At the launch of the Montego Bay 3, the Managing Director, Henry Montego Homes, Mr. Henry Ebulofo, stated that the goal is to see average Nigerian young men and women own a home stress-free with a 5 to 8 year payment plan.
Staff, investors and clients of Henry Montego Homes are gathered here. The occasion is an open house meeting with the managing director of the real estate company and the unveiling of its latest project, the Montego Bay 3 Phase 2.
I think about 16 or 20 months ago we launched this project, and we faced a couple of challenges with inflation, but we want to give God Almighty thanks for making it happen, and I want to thank you for coming to celebrate with us. God bless you all.
The Montego Bay 3 is a block of flats located in the upscale Ikate area of Lagos Island and a neighbor to the Meadow Hall School. The beautiful edifice comprises townhouses and 3-bedroom flats, among others. It also comes with a gym, swimming pool, and children play area. A structure the real estate company calls affordable luxury.
Henry Montego Homes is one of the most affordable real estate company, but giving the best luxury in the market, and yet spread payment for up to 8 years. Most of the investors that bought this project bought it for, some bought for even 40 million. Some bought for 60 million across 5 years payment. But today, the value of this property is 150 million.
For friends and investors, this is the place to be.
It's not my role. What I did is what another banker would do when you see a good opportunity. You understand? After all, we're also making money in all of this. But I'm happy he has integrity to deliver on promises.
So when I came in, I saw the building. I was just like, wow, this is good. Putting this kind of edifice, in area like this is very fantastic. So this is a good investment.
Henry Montego Homes, established in 2014, describes itself as one of Nigeria's fastest growing real estate developer company, specializing in luxury but affordable residential developments in the Lagos Island area.
The Imo State government, through the Ministry of Digital Economy and E-Government, has recruited about 5,000 youth for the first phase of the State Youth Empowerment Program, called Skill Up Imo Project. During the official flag-off of the empowerment program in Owerri, Governor Hope Uzodinma says the aim of the program is to reduce the level of unemployment amongst the youth in the state by harnessing their potential and positioning them for greater productivity.
Today, the analog economy and skills virtually have no market. The only market available in the world today is the digital market. And because the digital economy represents 95% of the world economy, therefore, in Imo State as a consensus, my interest is the future of the state. And the future of the state resides with the youth. If you recognize the youth, develop the youth, prepare the youth, you have recognized your state, you have developed your state, and you have organized your state. Today, this digital program, Imo State is the only state under my watch that has the Ministry of Digital Economy. So we must realign ourselves so that we can get to the global destination.
Operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, the NDLEA, at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport Command have intercepted a Brazil returnee, Charles Uchemadu, with parcels of cocaine concealed in different parts of a travel bag brought into Nigeria. Uchemadu was arrested during an inward clearance of passengers on the Qatar Airways flight following the discovery of 3 parcels of cocaine weighing 2.70 kilograms, factory sealed in parts of his travel bag. Other seizure includes cans of powdered milk, baby food and beverages used to conceal 3.4 kilograms of cannabis going to Dubai in the United Arab Emirates were also intercepted, while freight agent Ewelike Chibuike Cyril, who presented the consignment for export, was subsequently arrested at the Sako export shed of the airport. At the notorious drug hub Akala in the Mushin area of Lagos, however, 15 drug dealers, including 2 ladies, were arrested with 1,400 kilograms of cannabis sativa, among other illicit substances, such as heroin, methamphetamine, and 320 bottles of codeine syrup recovered during the raid. Another raid of the popular Idumota business district of Lagos Island led to the seizure of 35,014 pills of tramadol, diazepam, rohypnol, and 21.2 liters of codeine syrup, while a targeted notorious dealer is still on the run. Some Nigerians in South Africa have converged on the Consulate General in Johannesburg to discuss what they have described as some of their challenges living in the country. Or the event organized by the Nigerian Citizen Association of South Africa, NICASA, under the theme, The Plight of Nigerians in the Diaspora, South African Experience.
The conference with the theme, The Plight of Nigerians in the Diaspora, South African Experience, was hosted by the Nigerian Citizens Association, NICASA. Present were the Nigerian High Commissioner to South Africa, the Consul General, the Defense Advisor, and the representative of South Africa's Independent Police Investigative Directorate, IPID. The national president of NICASA, Mr. Ben Okoli, gave details of feedback of what some Nigerians say they are facing in South Africa, which include police high-handedness.
Among the challenges Nigerians in diaspora face are xenophobia, stereotype, nationality profiling, permit problems, Operation Dodula, the recent one, government bureaucracy, bottleneck on business compliance, and other work-related issues. We also experience police high-handedness, bias, and prejudice.
We are very much aware that people from other countries are being taken for granted. They are being treated simply because they are not from South Africa, particularly, and I want to emphasize this, particularly people of this color. They are more on the disadvantage. I don't know what is wrong about this color.
Nigeria's High Commissioner to South Africa, Ambassador Haruna Manta, tasked the leadership of NICASA to do more to create harmony among Nigerians in the country, as that is lacking with the low turnout of people at the event.
When you want to keep a house united, you must put in an effort, deliberate effort, to get even the rascally and the not too rascally to agree with you that they belong to that family. So if you say some are too good to come to these meetings, or some are too rascally to be invited, then we are having a divided house.
On his part, the Consul General, Mr. Andrew Idi, advised Nigerians to be good ambassadors, irrespective of what the situation is, as governments of both countries are aware of the many issues and are working to resolve all.
We may not be too quick in resolving some of these issues to the satisfaction of our nations. All we plead for, all we appeal for, a little more patience. The governments are aware of these challenges, and the governments are working hard to see how best we can address this.
Various questions were raised by Nigerians in attendance to the IPID representative.
I just want to ask, if a shooting happens, if somebody is shot, does it matter the nationality for the police to proceed with the investigation and ensure that they apprehend the perpetrators, even if they were not arrested at the crime scene?
That also relates to poor service delivery, because there is no investigation or there is poor investigation. So the civilian secretariat for police, we work hand in hand with them. So those are the matters that are normally referred to them. But the event can be brought to our office.
Definitely not all issues were expected to be resolved here, but the necessary conversations are continuing. The main advice is for all to always be law-abiding in the host country, as relevant authorities from both countries continue to engage, as they have said, to improve the situation for the many affected.
Abu Aguila Masood, a Libyan man accused of making the bomb which destroyed the Pan Am 103 flight over Lockerbie some 34 years ago, is now in U.S. custody. It was the deadliest terror incident to have taken place on British soil.
The U.S. had announced charges against Abu Masood 2 years ago, alleging he played a key role in the bombing on December 21, 1988. The blast on board the Boeing 747 left 270 people dead. All 259 passengers and crew on board the jumbo jet bound to New York from London died, while another 11 people were killed in Lockerbie when wreckage destroyed their homes. Last month, it was reported that Masood had been kidnapped by a militia group in Libya, leading to speculation that he was going to be handed over to the American authorities to stand trial. Masood is expected to make an initial appearance in a federal court in Washington. 5 years ago, Masood was serving a prison sentence in Libya for bomb making. It is alleged that while in jail, he confessed to being involved in the conspiracy with Abdel Bassett al-Megrahi, who was convicted of bombing Pan Am 103 after standing trial as a specially convened Scottish court in the Netherlands. He was then the only man to be convicted over the attack. A spokesperson for the Crown Office and Procurator Fiscal Service says families of those killed in the Lockerbie bombing have been told Abu Masood is in U.S. custody and that the Scottish prosecutors and police, working with UK government and US colleagues, will continue to pursue the investigation with the aim of bringing those who acted along with al-Megrahi to justice.
Southern Ukraine has been hit by strikes from both sides in the war, with Russia launching drones at Odessa and Ukraine fighting back in Melitopol. Now, the Ukrainian army said it shot down 10 drones on Saturday, but another 5 had hit energy facilities, leaving some 1.5 million people without power. Later on, the exiled mayor of Melitopol said a Ukrainian strike had been carried out on the Russia-held city. Images shared by a Moscow-installed official there showed a big fire. Ukrainian officials say Russia's drone attack on the Ukrainian port city of Odessa saw Moscow fire Iran-made drones at key infrastructure. Time now for some sports news. The head coach of Shooting Star Sports Club, Benga Ogumbote, is excited to lead the Ibadan-based team to win the maiden NPFL Dozie Mobosi Super Cup preseason tournament. The Oluyole Warriors showed grit to overcome Eyimba 3-2 in Lagos to claim the star prize of 100 million naira. He says the team is still a work in progress, and the triumph in the 4-team invitational tournament is indeed a big boost ahead of the new NPFL season, which is expected to start this month.
Actually worked for it, just like I did say at the beginning. It's just to test the strength of the team, and we are not going to be carried away by the victory, because there are a lot of things we still need to do in the team. But be it as it may, we have seen a lot of improvements from when we started till now. So all we just need to do, we still have to maintain a level head and make sure that we cross the T's and dot all the I's before the league commences. No, not really. I think the team is a team we have been trying to put together to ensure that, you see, my definition of a good game is beauty in the game plus success. So you want to make people who have come to watch the game enjoy their time. So and that's why you see, but thank God we have been able to, get it, but we are not completely done. It's still a team in the making.
French police have confirmed several arrests during Saturday night's 2022 FIFA World Cup quarter-final between the reigning world champions, France, and the Three Lions of England in Paris. A police fired tear gas on the Champs-Élysées in Paris as fans were celebrating victories by France and Morocco, sending them to the tournament's semi-finals. Thousands of supporters had filled the famous Parisian Avenue soon after the match between Morocco and Portugal, chanting, waving flags and honking their horns amid large police deployment. Footage showed people smashing shop fronts and fights with police. And the main news again. The presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, today accused Governor Nyesom Wike of Rivers State of pitching his tent with a rival party. The PDP flag bearer was speaking at Channels Television People's Town Hall, where he and his running mate, Governor Ifeanyi Okowa, also presented their agenda to Nigerians. Also today, the Director General of the PDP Presidential Campaign Council, Aminu Tambuwal, visited the Benue State Governor Samuel Ortom in a peace move with the G5 governors. And that's the news at 10. Many thanks for watching. I'm Ayo Tunde Balogun. Do have a wonderful night.